This is the plaintiff, Kimberly Adams. She says she lived with the defendant after she was released from prison, but moved out because she couldn't take his oppressive rules. Now the guy's holding her furniture hostage. He can't be allowed to get away with stealing from her like this. So she's suing for the $4,941.72 she's owed. This is the defendant, Peter Filla. He says he felt bad for the plaintiff because she had a rough life. And when she moved back in with her husband, he told her she could leave her stuff at his place because it wouldn't fit in her husband's place. She agreed to pay him $175 a month. She still owes him for 2 months' storage. She never paid him. Now all this time has passed and the stuff is abandoned, so he threw it all out. He's accused of tossing it all away.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says that she moved in with the defendant after being released from prison, but she had to move out because the guy had all sorts of oppressive rules. Now, the defendant says the plaintiff is trying to use his place as a storage unit. She hasn't paid him in over 2 months, and he threw all her junk in the garbage. It's the case of freedom's just another word.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Ms. Adams, you are suing Mr. Fila, your former friend, for $4,941.72 in items that you say he threw out without authority. Tell me what happened.
Okay, I've known Pete since 2012. We've been friends off and on.
How did you two meet?
He drove cab and we met in the cab.
Okay, so go on.
Okay, so this year I was in, I had gone to jail for a drunk driving, and I was in a halfway house for 6 months, which was my choice. I did need a place to stay, and Pete offered me, you know, his home. He took me to buy my furniture and my TV and things that I needed.
Did you pay rent at his home?
I did.
All right.
January, February, March, I didn't pay rent. I did give him money for utilities. Things, you know, things weren't that great living there.
How many months did you actually live there?
January, February, March, April. By the end of April, I was gone.
Okay. Where'd you go?
To my husband's house.
Okay. Did you leave stuff behind when you left?
I had taken just a couple of bags with me, and I thought my stuff was safe.
Did he give you permission to leave him there?
Yes. After I didn't live there, April and May and June, I still paid $450. I knew that he needed the help and needed a roommate, so I still paid the $450, even though I wasn't living there. I gave him $50 for utilities. In May, I wanted to sell my furniture. I couldn't get into the house. I did have a key, but he put a toggle lock on the door.
Well,
So
did you talk to him and say, I want to sell the furniture, I need to get in there?
Yes.
Did you mention it to him? And what did he say to you?
Yes. He would not answer his phone.
Okay, so wait a second. You guys were good friends and you trusted each other, and something went wrong if he's not answering his phone. So what happened between you guys?
Well, in July, I paid $170. And then August, I paid him $180. That was for storage. I agreed on
Okay, hold on.
$175.
So then, all right, so you're paying storage now. You're not living there. Now we're in June and July. You're paying for storage. And when is it that you want access so you can sell your stuff?
September.
All right, so what happens in August and September? Do you pay the storage fee in August and September?
August, I paid $180. September, I did not pay him.
Okay, so now in September go ahead.
I had someone to buy my furniture.
In September, but you owed storage from September because it's September. And and you hadn't paid September. So what happens when you communicate with him and tell him there's someone who wants to buy my furniture? What does he say?
He just ignored my text.
Oh, did you call him?
He doesn't answer his phone.
All right, so what was your plan? What happened in September? What contact did you have with him in September then?
Just through emails. Oh, no, text, not emails.
All right, so he sent you 2 texts saying you could come pick it up. When did he send those texts?
In September, he said, like, I don't know what day, I could come on a Monday at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Obviously, I need someone to carry the furniture. I wanted to pack up the rest of my belongings, a lot of belongings left behind. You know, he kept my stuff. He kept all
All
my
right, but
stuff.
you're going to have to explain to me what went wrong between you guys, because you were good friends and now you're not. So what went wrong between you guys?
I don't know.
And then when he gave you 2 dates in September for you to come pick up your stuff, why didn't you pick up your stuff?
My son was working. His friend was in school. I was working. I couldn't be there when he said to be there. But instead of him being a real friend and communicating with me,
What did he
you
do?
know, he just said, you can come on this day at this time. And I couldn't do it.
Did you ever attempt to arrange with the police to get your stuff on a date where you had a truck available or help available?
Yes. Pete told me don't bring the police to his house, so I didn't. I called his landlord on November 1st. I called the landlord.
Well,
She
what happened
texted me
between
back.
September and October?
He blocked me on Messenger. He blocked me on Facebook, and he blocked me on my phone. He said, I'm blocking you. He said, don't contact me anymore and mail my key back.
All right, Mr. Fila, what's going on?
Well, to be honest with you, most of the stuff she's told you is true. You know what I mean? We were good friends and everything else like that. And what caused that problem with her was the fact that my ex-girlfriend was here. You know what I mean? She had come back to, and everything like that. Kimberly didn't like it, but I messaged her, told her to come get her stuff, to just pay me the money she owed me and come get her stuff. She didn't answer me. And so I messaged again, you know what I mean? Did the same thing. She wouldn't answer me. The only reason, Your Honor, I don't have those text messages right now is because same thing. My brother bought me a phone, and the guy factory resetted it because my plan was to send you both conversations.
All you got to
mine and
do is
hers.
save your phone, folks, before you get a new phone. Save the
Oh,
content
yeah.
of your phone on a cloud, which everyone has included in their program. Can I just ask you a question, Mr. Fila? She
Sure.
didn't pay September,
Yes.
and she didn't pay October.
Right.
Okay.
So then what happened is that after a while of staying home, telling her she's right, I gave her a certain amount of time to come. You know
Wait,
what
when
I
you
mean?
say a certain amount of time, did you give her specific times or a certain
I
amount
told
of
her to
time?
come by. I told her to come by like 5 o'clock the next day.
1 o'clock.
Another time I gave her till noon. You know what I mean? Because
Right,
I
but
can't
what?
sit
Okay,
here
I
all day
understand, but
waiting
you
for
know
her.
she's got to get help, truck. You know, it might be a little more complicated than that for her. What happened between you two?
She got upset. Like I said, I've known Kimberly a good 20 years.
I've read the text
And
that you do have, and in the text you say, you know what I found. What did you find?
I didn't want to say it because it's personal to her or whatever, but it was a Coke straw.
Your Honor, I have 3 years clean.
And what bothers me is she knows my kids and everything, and she knows my daughter comes here. You know,
How old's your daughter?
my daughter's 22,
Your Honor, the
and
only
she's
one doing
slightly
drugs in the
autistic. My
house
daughter.
was him and his girl. And I had to leave because they hid in their room doing drugs. I had to leave. I couldn't live like that. There was beer in the refrigerator all the time.
When did you discover that he had gotten rid of your stuff?
The landlord told me that he said
When?
he got rid of November 1st.
Okay, so between September and October, you don't get your stuff. And
No, he blocked me.
right. And I
He
do
blocked
see
me
a
and said
text where
no.
you say to her October 13th that you're going to block her because of what you found. So how are you able, Mr. Fila, to prove that she abandoned it if she has no way to pick it up because you've blocked her and she can't get there? Did you videotape the stuff you threw out so that I could see what she had left there?
I did it, but
Did you
she
take
did.
photographs of it?
I didn't. It was a bedroom set, like she said, and a bureau and like 2 bags of clothes.
Okay, and so,
I had
Ms. Adams,
2
hold on.
bureaus full
Ms.
of clothes
Adams,
and
Ms.
a closet
Adams.
full of clothes.
Mr.
Brand
Fila, can
new.
you explain to me why
Liar.
you threw out all her stuff instead of making sure she got it and we wouldn't be here today?
Well, because like I said, I went to the police twice. And,
Right, but
and the first,
when you went to the police the second time, you were complaining that she had abandoned it, but you had blocked her since October 13th, hadn't you?
I didn't block her though.
But
I
you
didn't
said
block
you were
her,
blocking her, and she says you did, or you weren't
but
answering her.
I blocked her later on.
But
It
you
wasn't
said on
until
October 13th you were blocking her never to call you again. That's what you said on
Yeah.
October 13th, right?
I'm not sure if that was the date, to be
I
honest
am.
with
It's on
you.
the
But
text.
at one point, I did tell her that.
Right. So I
Right.
have text, but what I'm missing are the ones where you say, you give her all these opportunities to pick up the items at mutually convenient times. How did you throw out her stuff? How did you throw it out?
We ended up having people come and take it.
Who? What kind of people? Who?
Gucci watch, $600 necklace.
Oh, why are you
expensive
leaving a
perfume.
Gucci watch and a $600 necklace behind? If you have a Gucci watch, why isn't it on your wrist? Why would you
I don't
leave it
know,
there
Donna.
to be stored
I
at his house when he and his girlfriend do nothing but drugs in their room? Why would I believe there was a Gucci watch? I mean, you think I was born yesterday? How are you going to prove up your case? You are saying that it's $5,000 worth of goods that he threw out. How are you going to prove the value of $5,000 worth of goods?
The only proof I have is my receipt for my bedroom set.
Yeah. And so you paid $13,872.
Yes.
All right. Now, you say you had a 50-inch TV, and according to you, Mr. Fila, did she have a 50-inch TV there?
No.
55-inch.
Okay. Do you have any proof
No.
that you had a 55-inch TV there?
He took me to buy it. He took me to buy it at Walmart.
Does that ring a bell, Mr. Fila?
Yep, I did bring her, but she took stuff from here throughout.
I did not. You wouldn't
back
let
with her
me in.
husband. When she moved back
Your
with
Honor,
her
I
husband,
never took
she
anything
But I
out.
don't understand. When you say he wouldn't let you in, I don't know why you keep saying that, because at the beginning you didn't have a problem with him. You were still paying rent even though you weren't living there. You had access to the place. But
No,
wait,
I didn't
back
have
in
access.
okay, then don't pay rent. March and April, you didn't have any access. April and May, I mean, you didn't have any access, but you're paying
No,
rent.
I had no access.
But you're paying rent,
Yes,
and you had no
$450.
access in April and May.
exactly.
Why are you paying rent if you have no access? Why aren't you calling the cops?
I felt bad for him that he needed a roommate. He needed some help. And
Did she pay rent April and May, Mr. Fila?
So she did give once. She gave some money to help out with the bills.
That's not my question. My question is, did she pay April and May rent?
Yes.
Ms. Adams, I'm not
Liar.
asking you that question. Mr. Fila, I'm asking you that question. Did she pay April and May
Liar.
rent?
No, she didn't.
Okay. Ms. Adams, do you have any proof that you paid April and May rent?
I gave him cash.
Did
in
you
an
get a receipt?
envelope. No, he never gave
Well,
me a
I don't
receipt.
care about he did. Then you don't release the cash. I mean, cash doesn't leave this hand till a receipt enters this hand. That's how you give cash. Otherwise, how are you ever going to prove that you gave cash? All right, so we've got
Right.
the bedroom furniture. You say you have exactly $2,159 worth of clothing. How would you possibly know that?
Just guesstimations.
Okay, do you have any
It's
receipts for any of the clothing, anything?
I mean, I could go into my, no, I don't have receipts.
Did you, when you say that you had just gotten out of jail for a DUI, how long were you in jail for that DUI?
For 1 year.
Okay, so that's not your first DUI then. That had to be.
No, it wasn't.
Which
No.
number was that?
It was a fourth offense. I had my first offense when I was 18. And then in 1994, 2000, and then.
Okay. Did you throw out, according to you, 2 bags of clothes? Do you know whether there was any jewelry in the clothes, Mr. Fila?
No, it was closed.
Well, you don't know. Did you go through all of her bags?
No, but I could tell it was.
How could you tell from the outside of a trash bag what's inside? See, this is
You're
why you
right,
don't
I
do this.
couldn't.
You don't throw it out. You make an effort to just get this over with and get her to get her stuff out and then say good riddance. That's why this, because otherwise I'm sitting here trying to recreate a moment in time that you have not documented because you didn't bother to take video. You didn't bother to take pictures. You threw out all her stuff. You're looking at me in the eye saying she abandoned it, but you blocked her. Let me explain how these lawsuits work. The plaintiff has to prove that you had her items and you threw it out. She has proven that because you admit it. Your defense is something you're responsible for proving, Mr. Fila. Your defense is she legally abandoned it. You have no evidence of your defense because you would have to have those texts where you made yourself available to her. And, I would have to see that she was being unreasonable. Offering her an opportunity to get her things once does not mean, and she doesn't make it, that doesn't mean she abandoned it. You have a very high burden as someone who has her belongings to be able to prove that you are allowed to throw out all of her belongings. You have to be able to show that it was repeated on her part, that she just didn't care and didn't show up. Not that there was a broken truck and there was a problem. When I see these texts where you're the one blocking her and she testifies in accordance exactly with what you say, which is I'm going to block you because of what I found, and then she can't reach you all of October, then you throw out her stuff in November, it's like, how are you going to prove that she abandoned the stuff as opposed to you decided you didn't want anything else to do with her and threw out her stuff? Now I've got to sit here and try to recreate the value of her stuff when the one thing I know about is the furniture, which was purchased in January at the time of it being thrown out. There's a certain depreciation to the furniture, so I'm going to kind of do a little mojo, do that mojo that I do. Do that thing I do and kind of just come up with a figure that is rough justice in this case, because how do I know what your clothing's worth or whether you had a Gucci watch there? I don't think anybody leaves behind a Gucci watch. But no, I don't want to hear any more flapping gums. Do you have any evidence you haven't shown me? Other than talk, because both of you talk. I want evidence. Does anybody have any evidence they want to show the judge before the judge rules?
I don't know how I can get you the value. My clothes were all brand new. I had things I didn't wear.
Okay.
There was not. There
yeah,
was
no.
much
That
more
again.
than
That's
2
more
bags.
talk. That's more talk. I would need
clothes in the
receipts.
closet
Ms. Adams, there's a way to
with
prove these
tags.
cases up in terms of value, and that's receipts. Okay. So I am ruling in favor of Ms. Adams because I do not find that Mr. Fila has proven that the items were abandoned, certainly not by the text I do have where he says, never call me again, back in October, early October. And there's zero evidence of him making himself available and her being the one who's blowing it off. If anything, I see the opposite, her saying, please, please, I want to get my stuff. So I am finding in favor of Ms. Adams. The question is in what amount, and based on a little rough justice here, I am finding in her favor in the amount of $1,600. That is my judgment. Good luck, folks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, after using a little rough justice, the judge agrees that the plaintiff deserves $1,600 from the defendant. Let me ask you, Mr. Filler, how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm glad she didn't get it all, and I guess it is what it is.
That's the way it is, all right? You've got to give her $1,600, and that's what the judge says, so you're going to have to do that. Ms. Adams, I know you're disappointed. You're not getting $5,000, but you had no evidence. You understand that? You had no proof of anything. The Gucci watch,
Right, receipts.
the necklace. Yeah, I feel sorry for you because,
I had brand new clothes that I never wore. I had a closet full of clothes. My bureaus were full of clothes. It was not 2 bags. It was a lot of money worth. Brand new stuff, brand new.
All right. Well, listen, I know it's been a rough road for you, but good luck to you, okay?
Thank you.
Stay on the straight and narrow path if you can. Okay?
Thank you.
Doug, this is a case really involving abandonment, whether the plaintiff abandoned the property. These laws not only vary from state to state, but even city to city. So this is something that comes up very often in just everyday life. So if you think something is being abandoned, if you worry you've abandoned something, go online and you can check out specifically, type in abandonment, type in your city or state, and you're going to find out the rules of the road.
A friend filled up at a gas station, and 10 minutes later, her car sputtered and died. It was towed to a garage and quickly determined that she got bad gas, maybe watered down. Can she sue the gas station for the $700 repair? And would the explanation from the repair garage be enough to carry the day?
I think so. Yeah, I kind of do because.
Can't anybody say that? Because I don't think I
Well,
would.
anybody say it, but you have an expert witness saying it. The mechanic is going to say, this is what happened. I mean, do you think it has to be tested to see if it's watered down?
Absolutely.
Who's going to do that over $700?
No,
It'll cost you thousands.
How do you nail causation on that? If I'm the judge and they come in and they go, well, my mechanic says it was watered down. Well, maybe he wanted to make a quick $700.
Right, but I'll ask the mechanic, you know, if I'm the judge, I say, how do you know?
Right.
And what's the mechanic's answer going to be?
I've never done small claims the way you have.
Right.
So you're accustomed to the kind of proof that comes in the front door, and you have to make a judgment, boom, like that, based on the proof that comes in.
And people do the best they can without lawyers. And, you know, if I have a mechanic telling me, look, Judge, this thing was sputtering, I could tell because I've been a mechanic for 20 years what it was.
If she's persuasive, or he's persuasive.
Right. And so I changed this, I did that, and boom, her car was fixed.
Right.
Although 700 seems a little high, but you know, if they say that to me, I'm going to find that pretty darn persuasive.
Right.
Yeah.
When's the last time you went to a mechanic and got away for less than 700? You know.
Well, that'll do it for this session of the People's Court. See you next time.